The other night in my masjid, I was speaking about, this concept of a man who probably has never, who doesn't read anything about charity or does not know all of the ayat and ahadith about charity. But they are naturally generous people. They already have the quality, they've experienced the quality of generosity. And so when they're put in a situation, they give, and their generosity overtakes them. Even though they don't necessarily know all the technicalities and the concepts or the virtues of that said generosity. There are different people that have different qualities, and there are people that are tested with different things, and when they are tested, suddenly, all of the things that you think that you had down are not as prominent in your character as you would have hoped they would have been. Suddenly, you feel like you're reeling. You thought maybe that you'd be able to handle these types of tests, but the test came and your faith struggled. Your faith could not hold you up. You thought that you had patience. You've attended lectures on patience. You've heard khutbahs about patience. But then something happens to you and you're not patient. And at the core of that issue is that people tie their faith to so many different things, to so many different circumstances, to so many different people, that when that circumstance changes, or when that person changes, or when that aspect of their life changes, suddenly the faith starts to wither away and disappear. And that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ عَلَى حَرْفٍ. Some people worship Allah on an edge. They worship Allah literally at the, on a cliff. If something happens that's good to them or what they deem good, because only Allah truly deems good and bad, but something happens to them that they deem good, then they are grateful. They say, we love this faith, we're good with everything, we're good with our faith, everything is great, alhamdulillah. The minute that something bad happens to them, that they deem as such, that they deem bad, then they are literally like a person that's jumping off of the cliff of faith. Suddenly it starts to wither away. How many people do you see that weren't so quote-unquote religious before a devastating a tragedy of health or loss of health came to them, some sort of disease or sickness? But then through that disease and through that sickness, they found faith and they found that wake-up call. And they turned back to faith and they turned back to their Creator. Whereas there are so many people that were quote-unquote religious, but then once they're put in that circumstance, it doesn't hold up. Because the learned is not like the absorbed. And the preached about is not like the experienced. It has to go back to your own fundamental experiences. And the Prophet ﷺ, for example, he said, وَمَنْ لَا يَشْكُرْ بِالْقَلِيلِ لَمْ يَشْكُرْ بِالْكَثِيرِ. That whoever does not thank Allah for the little things in life is not going to be grateful for the big things in life. Whoever is not patient with the small things that are going to happen to them, how are they going to truly find patience with the major things that happen to them in life? If you can't have patience with someone cutting you off on the side of the road and hold yourself, if you can't have patience in an argument, how are you going to have patience when you're facing a disaster in life? The experienced is not like the learned. The Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّمَا الْعِلْمُ بِالتَّعَلُّمْ وَإِنَّمَا الْحِلْمُ بِالتَّحَلُّمْ. That knowledge is through seeking knowledge, and patience and forbearance is through practicing patience and forbearance. You have to constantly make sure that those qualities are well established in your heart, well established in your character, so that when those things come, when those tests come, you know how to deal with them. Your faith actually holds up.